Hello, happy Tuesday if you're watching me live in real time. Hope you're having a lovely day. Okay, first question, where is the sun? Okay, who's got it? Maybe you've got it where you are, certainly not here in the West Country. It's cold. I have to put a kind of thickish dress on. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Honestly, just as we think, yes, get the sun cream out. No, it's fooled us again. Nice to see you all. Hi, lovely to see you. Yeah, thank you. Sending hearts back. So today, I'm really super excited because I've got a new person for us to talk to who is a qualified herbalist and phytotherapist. So we're going to be talking about plants, about all kinds of different herbal ingredients that can seriously have a positive, beneficial impact on our health. So what do you think about that? Do you use herbs? Are you somebody who's actually embraced herbalism perhaps in the past? Love to know. Drop me a comment below. I'll keep an eye on them and see how many I can pick up and how many we can crack through. So I'm going to be talking to Michael Eisted, and he is co-founder of a fabulous British brand that was put onto my radar recently called Phytonectars. Super interesting, lovely ingredients, makes a really nice tonic. They come in these little sachets. I'm going to be making one up in a little bit, and I'll show you exactly how they work. We do have a Liz Loves, of course, so 20% off everything that's full price on their website, and I'll make sure that we put all the links in the caption and everything when I finish this live. But I think it's going to be super interesting. So first of all, I'm just going to add Lainey from my team as a moderator. So if you've got any questions at all about anything that we do here at Earle Wellbeing, then you are welcome to address them to her. So anything to do with the magazine, for example, if you've got your subscription, if you need any information on podcasts or any of the links to any of the things that we talk about. And obviously a lot of the stuff that we talk about, you will find more information on the mothership, which is my website, lizarwellbeing.com. So you can always head there. There's loads of links and free resources and downloads and all that stuff over there. But let us see if we have Michael in the house. Where are we? Are you here yet? I cannot see you just yet, Michael. So if you want to ping me a little invite, and then I can accept you. Okay, how about that? Let's see how we get on. Okay, so one of the things that I really want to focus on today actually is support for the skin, and there are a few really interesting supplements that have come onto the market recently. We know about hyaluronic acid, for example, and I love that. It's a fantastic molecule, very skin friendly. It's normally found within the skin, but of course we lose it as we age, as we lose so many things. And it's one of those ingredients that has double benefits because you can use it on the skin. You can use it in face creams. I've talked, for example, about Beauty Pie that I really like, their triple hyaluronic acid moisturizer. There's 35,000 that has the serum. I've got that on my face at the moment. That's got the SPF and the hyaluronic acid and the tint and all those sort of goodies. So that's a really simple, quick thing that you can pop on. And then, of course, you can take hyaluronic acid internally. And it's kind of like an internal lubrication. It's a moisturizer. It helps to support collagen, supporting our connective tissue, our elastin fibers, all of that. So it is a really good thing to top up with. And I was very pleased to see that that contains this, as well as vitamin C and other things as well. Pomegranate, interesting. Lycopene, sodium hyaluronate, which of course is the technical name for hyaluronic acid. And that's just one of them. So the other phytonectars, we've got I Am Resilient, love that. That's sea buckthorn turmeric, which we talked about, and astragalus, I hope I've said that correctly, which I think is an adaptogen. We'll talk to Michael about that. I Am Rested. This is the one that I actually had last night. Love it. I have to hide this from Brella because it's got blueberry in it, and she is just like the blueberry queen, I have to say. If ever I buy blueberries, they just disappear like that. If you're watching Brella, you're going to love this. So this has got lavender, blueberry, guava, reishi, one of the key nutritional mushrooms, and magnesium. So lovely blend to have in the evening, and you can make it into a warming drink. So reishi, obviously one of the mushrooms we've talked about before with Bristol fungarium, who we also have a Liz Loves with if you want to look at all the different mushrooms there. And I know that Michael's going to chat to us about the therapeutic use of mushrooms as well. I Am Radiant, that's the one that we're going to be making up today. And then I Am Focused, and this has got ashwagandha, one of our hero herbs, lion's mane, super good for cognitive function, memory, interesting studies on Alzheimer's with lion's mane, and cacao, also super interesting. So let me just check my requests. you here, Michael? I can't see you yet. Okay, so maybe Lainey, oh, hang on, phytonectars, here we go. What's going on with this today? Let's see whether you join. Where are you? Yes. Hello.
Hello. Hey, Liz.
Very nice to see you. Let me just turn my volume right up so we can hear all your pearls of wisdom. How are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm very warm, but very brilliant. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too warm, actually. Whereabouts are you that it's warm?
I'm in Central Europe, so southern Germany, and it's very warm.
Okay, can you turn your volume up at all? I've got you on max, but hopefully everybody can hear.
Is that better?
Yeah, it is. I think, yeah, just stand as close as you can and project.
Fantastic.
And we'll be fine.
Will.
So tell us a little bit about your background. I introduced you as a herbalist, is that right?
That is correct. So my background is in food and drink, primarily in developing formulations, drinks for the luxury hotel, restaurant, spa sector. But then I retrained as a phytotherapist, which is a term for a medical herbalist,
Right.
a nutritionist, and an aromatherapist.
Wow.
And what I'm really passionate about is showing people how they can integrate nature into their lives, in particular plants, in very novel and interesting ways. And I know drink, and so that's how I use that as a platform to show people how they can do that.
And it's such an easy thing because we're all making drinks. And, you know, I mean, honestly, you know, my coffee these days is sort of only like 10% coffee. And the rest of it's taken up with all the mushrooms, the creatine, the MCT oil, I mean, everything else that goes into it. So it's a lovely way to actually kind of drink your nutrients and the actives that you want. And of course, when you do that, they're very bioavailable, aren't they? Because your digestive system starts to work straight away to process them.
Exactly. And I don't think you're alone, Liz. I think everybody's coffee rituals have completely changed.
Yeah.
In a good way.
In a good way. So phytonectars, these lovely things, is really, really interesting. You know, I first came across this a few months ago, and I've been using your sachets. Obviously, I trial everything extensively before it becomes a Liz Loves, and I do genuinely love it, which is why I'm really happy to be talking about it today. This one that we're talking about, which is the Radiant one, this has got a couple of things in it which I'm not so familiar with. One of them is tremella mushroom. Tell me about tremella, because I don't know. Apparently, it's known as the beauty mushroom.
It is indeed. So just quickly on phytonectars. Phyto obviously means plant, and nectars is the ambrosia of the gods. So a sweet liquid. And so there's lots of written references throughout history about these complex mixtures of plants and mushrooms ingested in sort of, different drinks. So that's what it's all about. So what we're trying to do, or what we are doing, is mixing complex mixtures of plant compounds and mushroom compounds together in very delicious ways. And as you mentioned in I Am Radiant, here also we have a mushroom called tremella, which is known as the fountain of youth, or the beauty mushroom. It's getting a lot of attention at the moment. Packed full of lots of antioxidants, and what it has got is really long chain polysaccharides. It has things like mannose, gluconic acid. So you might think about sort of uronic acid and hyaluronic acid. So it's a very similar structure. And these very complex carbohydrate chains are where a lot of the research is on tremella. And what they do is they help the skin to retain their moisture, and they help the skin to protect it against UV damage. So particularly in the summer, it's fantastic. And it helps the skin to retain the collagen too. Other studies, carry on.
No, well, that's amazing. So we're getting some UV protection in terms of repairing cell damage and collagen support and kind of pro-aging, really.
Absolutely. And when you see the mushroom, it's called a jelly fungus. And when you see it, it's really unctuous and it's really demulcent. It looks like you just want to smear yourself with it. It's amazing.
Wow.
And you'll notice a lot of skincare brands are actually now integrating it into their formula for that reason.
I just love this whole world of mushrooms. You know, they're kind of older than we are, aren't they? These ancient fungi. And when you look at traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda and all of that, you know, these ancient practices have been using these for so long. And I was doing some research actually for a project that I'm involved in, looking at sort of anti-cancer treatment, looking at people in Japan, what they're using. Even conventional medics you know, you go on PubMed and you look up some of these mushrooms, and the data is astonishing. I'm just amazed that we don't know more about them, that they haven't become more mainstream. But I guess that's happening.
That's definitely happening now. There still needs to be a lot more sort of gold standard research on a lot of these mushrooms. But yeah, I mean, they've got thousands of years of usage in places like China and Japan. And so, yeah, very powerful. I mean, we have to tread carefully, especially when we talk about cancer.
Yeah, sure.
But
I mean, you know, they're just pointing out there are, you know, some studies which are quite interesting going on with some of the varieties, you know, worth checking out. I am going to crack on and actually make one. Okay, we're going to do a live demo, so I hope I get this right.
Fantastic.
I have got, let me just grab from the stove. So I've got some milk that I've been warming. Another reason that I love these is, I mean, you can mix them, it says on the sachet, with water or with milk, or with kind of a plant substitute. I'm a big fan of real milk, so I'm thrilled that I've got another excuse to drink some. So I'm going to, according to the instructions, I've got my pan here, I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of warm milk into a glass, and then I'm going to mix up the contents of this sachet, I Am Radiant. So I'll kind of mix that into a little paste and then add the rest of the milk. Is that right?
You've done this before. That's amazing.
I have. I've never done it live, though, so this is the first. And I love the colour. So tell us about the colour. Where's that coming from?
Colour's coming from pomegranate. So we actually work directly with growers of pomegranate in India who harvest the pomegranates for us and process them into a powder with no fillers at all.
Nice.
So there's beautiful antioxidant polyphenols from the pomegranate, and then also we've got a lycopene extract from tomatoes. So again, really powerful antioxidant. Also, you've got some aphrodisiac qualities there too. So we've had really positive feedback, actually, particularly from women, who are getting some fire in the bedroom and raising libido through the ginger. We've got something in there called shatavari as well, a root which is traditionally used as a female tonic in India. So we use an extract of that, and we're getting some very positive feedback.
Okay, well, I shall have to do some research on that.
But the colour is
we'll see.
The colour is pomegranate and lycopene.
And pomegranate actually is another really interesting extract, particularly that's been linked actually for guys as well, hasn't it, for prostate health?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
So this is not, I mean, you might not want to share it with your other half, but if you were feeling generous, you could.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And the lycopene as well, I think for testicular cancer and just general kind of skin protection is quite interesting.
Very interesting. Lots of cardiovascular health, lots of research on cholesterol levels and cardiovascular health.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So to whisk it up, I've got my little whisk here, which I actually use in my coffee when I'm mixing up all my nootropics. So I'm just going to mix that in there. You can see that's just blended really well, but you could just whiz it up with a spoon or fork if you
Fantastic.
And then I'm going to pour in the rest of the milk just to top that up. Oops. Try not to spill too much of it. Give that another little whisk. And this is, I have to say, such a delicious drink. I know it is because I'm using it at the moment, drinking it at the moment. How often could you have this?
You can drink it. I drink Radiant every morning. I like it every day. And so you can have 2 or 3 phytonexes a day. Obviously, we've got different phytonexes for different need states.
Yeah.
So we have one that's based around skin, I Am Radiant, I Am Rested to calm the nervous system down, I Am Resilient for immunity, and then you have I Am Focused if you want something to help with cognitive function and concentration.
Yeah.
So as a
the lion's mane actually, and I Am Focused, I have to say I've given that to my boys, but both my boys actually have just had exams, and Kit's actually just finished from uni, and at the end of term, you know, he was racing towards deadlines for dissertations, etc. I sent him lion's mane and he was like, oh, Mum, this is great. I mean, he takes it every day now. He sees a real difference in his focus and his mental clarity when he takes it.
Yeah. Well, our co-founder, Katya's son, has just done his GCSEs and he was on I Am Focused all the way through.
Is he really?
Fantastic. Yeah.
Lucky boy.
Yeah. And
actually, I also give it, as well as giving it kind of down a generation to my kids, I also make sure that my parents are well stocked because there's interesting studies, isn't there, to do with brain health, Alzheimer's, cognitive function. Absolutely. So as soon as I was researching that, I was like, right, folks, you're going to be taking this every day now.
No, absolutely. And we're just touching the tip of the iceberg of what we really know about mushrooms and their benefits.
Yeah.
And this focus that we have right now on them is really positive. So we're just getting some really just more and more interesting research. The latest gold standard randomized controlled trial was on hearing loss in elderly people with lion's mane mushrooms. Yeah, and very positive results.
And of course, all these phytonutrients, they are essentially foods.
Exactly.
So they're considered safe. They're not going to have
Exactly.
any contraindications. I know a lot of my community here are on HRT. They might be on thyroid medication, might be on, doing all sorts of things. But is there anything that we need to be aware of?
Nothing major. Always just consult your health practitioner or your doctor just to check. Just things like tremella has sort of anticoagulant action. So just if you're taking medication, it's just check, just to be sure. But in general, no, it's just like eating good food.
Exactly. It's like eating good mushrooms, eating your blueberries, eating your pomegranates, having your loads of tomatoes for your lycopene, but in a super concentrated way, and that's highly absorbable. Easy, because you could also make a shake with this. I during term time, I like to make my boys protein shake to set them off for school, and then I make extra and I have a bit later on myself. So I might put a bit of protein powder in. Maybe for them, I might throw in a banana and some Greek yogurt, make it kind of into a meal in a glass. So you could do that with this, could you?
You can do that, absolutely. That was part of the reason for formulating them this way. You can be really creative with them. I want people to engage with the nature which is in the sachets, and then be creative, have fun with them. You can make smoothies, you can bake with them, you can put them in your porridge, you can make cold drinks with them, you can carbonate them. There's lots of things you can do with them. So we like to give them to chefs, for example, and say, look, be creative.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure Heston would love this.
And so we have lots of different recipes on the website. I mean, look, this is sort of 360-degree nutrition. We are trying to get as many complex mixtures of therapeutic plants, mushrooms, vitamins and minerals, because they are fortified with vitamins and minerals too. And so it's like a delicious, drinkable nutritional supplement, and lots of fun. And you can't underestimate pleasure. I think it's really important.
It tastes good.
Exactly.
When I read the ingredients, I was thinking, before I tried them, I was thinking, this looks great, but is it going to be a bit worthy? Is it going to be a struggle?
No.
But I actually really look forward to it. It's like a treat, and it's doing me good. So that's double benefit.
Amazing.
So talking about some of the nutrients. So for example, in the Radiant, we've got vitamin A, very, very good for skin, essential, and vitamin C, very good for collagen formation, protecting against free radical cell damage, etc. In the one that's rested, this is one I had last night with the blueberries in it, and the reishi, this has magnesium, again, super helpful for sleep.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm Rested is formulated with vitamins, minerals, plants and mushrooms that will help you relax. So it's not a sedative. No. It's more of an anxiolytic. So anxio meaning anxious and lytic meaning to cut. So it just prevents you from, so I really like I Am Rested if I have to do lots of public speaking or if I'm really stressed. It's really good just to calm the nervous system down and then help you get a good night's rest. So the feedback we've been getting is phenomenal about the length of sleep and the sort of depth of sleep as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I think so many people may be able to get to sleep, but it's the staying asleep, isn't it? It's not kind of waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning with your mind racing and those anxious thoughts that kind of is just so disturbing.
Exactly. So you have
lots. They've got lavender in here as well. Interesting. I put lavender oil on my pillow. What's the benefit of actually taking it in a drink?
So again, it's a traditional nervine, which means a herb that would help you to relax. It's a central nervous system relaxer. And so both externally and internally it will have very similar actions.
Really? We have nervine?
A nervine, yes. Expression. Yeah, nervine and anxiolytics are two sort of more technical herbalism terms.
I hope everyone's writing this down. I mean, every day is a school day when we do our lives, because we just have fantastic experts like you that unpick your brain and tell us so much about it. So that's this one. And then this other one, I want to make sure that we cover this, because this is I Am Resilient. And obviously, we're surrounded by increasing number of cold and flu bugs and all sorts of nasty things. This has got some interesting things. We've talked about turmeric here before, but there's a couple of other things. Astragalus, have I said that right?
Yes, exactly. So astragalus root.
Astragalus root. Tell us about that.
So that's an immunomodulating herb. Traditionally, again, it's a traditional Asian Chinese medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vetch plant, and it's used to enhance white blood cell formulation, and is phenomenal. So cytokines and white blood cell formation, and phenomenal antiviral and antibacterial.
Brilliant. So if you're feeling a bit under the weather, if you're convalescing, you feel something coming on, maybe if you're traveling, you know, we all get exposed to many more bugs and bacteria from different sources, you know, whether we're on a train, a plane, whatever, or even just in a different environment. We're going to be coming across different people, perhaps being a little bit more social. This is, I'm impressed because you've got sea buckthorn, turmeric and astragalus, but you've also got vitamin C, vitamins D, zinc and selenium, all of which are complex together to support the immune system.
Exactly. It's fabulous. So as you just mentioned, everybody's traveling again much more.
Yeah,
and so I was doing a tasting in Whole Foods last week, and just so many people were saying, look, what can I take on the aeroplane? Because I've got to go back to the States or wherever they were going. And that's perfect. So you can
these
take
are
it onto the
sachets.
plane.
So, you know, portability, you can just throw a couple of these in your bag if you're traveling or if you're heading off for a holiday. You're not having to take, you know, huge, clunky, heavy glass bottles of stuff. It's just this in this little sachet, which is amazing. What a good idea to actually take it on the plane.
Perfect.
Because, you know, if they come round, they sometimes give you little bottles of water. You could just tip this in, give it a shake, and then you've got something perfect to sustain you for your journey.
Or just have some hot water as well. It's great. It's perfect.
Yeah, yeah. And you talked about carbonating. So we can make fizzy drinks with these. We could add these into fizzy water. Absolutely.
Particularly the one you have in your hand, I'm Resilient, is excellent. So the same sort of process that you went through, just make it into a paste with just a bit of warm water. Then you can add ice, a little bit of sparkling water, give that a stir, a squeeze of citrus. It's really good.
Fabulous.
And we've got
tequila maybe and a cocktail parasol.
Great stuff. No, brilliant. And just pleasurable ways to ingest them. Absolutely, 100%.
And you talk about baking and cooking. You know, I'm thinking here about making some, you know, really kind of fun muffins. I mean, the Resilient one would be fun because that would go kind of orangey with the turmeric, and the beauty one, the Radiant, would presumably kind of produce a pinky colour. Are they resilient to baking, to heat?
Some of the constituents will degrade in there. I was thinking more about sort of more, so without too much baking processes, but raw, if you like, raw cakes, fantastic.
Nice.
Again, our co-founder, Katia, does a lot of creative work here, creating lots of raw goodies with these. They're fantastic. So
adding to yogurts and things would be really good.
Perfect. Because look, I like the fact you use real milk. I have mine in real milk too. I mean, fat is a fantastic format to ingest chemicals in. So the fat, you know, helps you absorb some of the fat soluble vitamins, for example, and distribute some of the phytochemicals. So it's always traditional in India, for example, you would have your medicine with ghee, milk, coconut milk, butter, very traditional, and for that reason.
Yeah, brilliant. I've just seen interesting comment here. What about putting into smoothies? Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Liz McCarthy says, I'm perimenopausal, struggling to sleep. My skin is becoming dry and itchy. Which should I take?
So I would recommend a combination. I would say I am Radiant in the mornings for the support, and then later in the day I am Rested.
Yeah. And at what point do you take I am Rested? Do you take it just before bed, or like in the evening when you're winding down?
When you're in the evening, when you're winding down. As with all, it's the same I have a herbal medicine practice. When I see patients, I give them very strong tinctures and formulations, and I always say don't take them too close to going to bed. And I would say the same with Phytonexes. I would say at least give it an hour at least before you go to bed. Yeah. But like I said, if you just want to relax, it's perfect. Just you can take it during the day. It's not going to send you to sleep.
No, it just takes the edge off.
Exactly.
And just sort of calms and focuses your mind in a positive way. And I have to say, I can absolutely vouch for it, because last night I had probably the best night's sleep I've had in a long time.
Oh, fantastic. So pleased to hear it.
Yeah. It's, you know, I think there's just always so much on at this time of year, you know, any parent or, you know, somebody with kids at uni coming back, and and then you're thinking about the summer and maybe traveling and getting deadlines done. And it just always seems to be so much going on. And then everyone's more social as well, which is nice. So you've kind of got the possibly burning the candle at both ends as well.
Exactly. I mean, we do live in more highly stressful environments because of technology and just the way it is. And so I think that reconnection with nature, the ingestion of those
Yeah,
complex mixtures of plants and mushrooms can really support your
yeah.
needs. It's like prophylactic, delicious drinking medicine.
Love
So
it. I
um,
love it so, so much. I hope you can tell I really love it. And something else that I love, which I'd like to know your opinion about, slightly kind of off topic, is grounding. So talking about reconnecting with nature. I go out
fantastic.
every morning now barefoot and I just stand on earth or stone or preferably grass if I can get some. I just feel so good for it.
It's the best medicine.
Yeah,
Is if you, I mean, I did a bachelor's of science and I'd spent far too much time in labs and reading research papers, but
yeah,
the best education I had was outside with my shoes off with the plants themselves.
yeah.
And that is profound medicine. It still is. It's the best.
I love it. I love it. I know you're going to pick up loads more followers. How do we best follow you, contact you if people want to see what you're doing or
Follow
contact
us
you?
through Phytonectars.
Hmm.
You can also follow me through the herbal where I do other things, but Phytonectars. And on the website, we have lots of recipes. We've got a science section, which we
Great.
keep up to date all the time. If you want to do your
Great.
own research, I would say you've mentioned PubMed, but I would use Google Scholar.
Okay.
That's the best place to find the most up-to-date research, and it's really easy to
Interesting.
use. And then we keep up, like I said, we keep the website up to date. There's lots of recipes up there. There's lots of inspiration
Mm.
at
I'm so
Phytonectar.
going there. I'm going to be all over that. I can't wait to see some of the recipes and just be a little bit more adventurous. I mean, this is delicious, but how great to have other options as
And
well.
look, we are really happy to continue the conversation with anybody. I mean, it's certainly a time for us to connect and be together. And
Yeah.
so I'm Michael at phytonectars.com. If you've got any questions, if you've got anything you want to share or anything you want to talk about, then please
Amazing.
go ahead.
Amazing. That's super generous, super open of you. Thank you. Michael, enjoy your time
Thank you,
in
Liz.
Europe. I wish you many more sunny days, huge success. I know this is a relatively new brand, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yeah, we launched last October.
Yeah, well, massive success.
Thank you,
Huge
Liz.
congrats. It's a genuine Liz Loves, staying in my kitchen cupboards. Might have to hide it from the rest of the fam. And thank you for the discount. We're super grateful.
Of course. Thank you for having us on, Liz. It's very nice to
Nice
chat
to
with you.
see you. Bye
Take care.
now. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye. You have to click off, otherwise I might disconnect. Wasn't that so interesting? Oh my gosh, I just love so much of this information, this research. Who knew that about tremella? I didn't know that. I'm going to have to look that one up. Known as the beauty mushroom. Super interesting. So this is the one that I made. This is the one that has vitamin C for collagen. It has pomegranate, which is what's giving it its lovely color. Lycopene, again, which is also a plant pigment. It's a polyphenol, and the sodium hyaluronate, which is the hyaluronic acid. It's also got biotin. We talked about biotin recently. Do you remember in what context? Anybody paying attention? It was hair loss and hair thinning. So I would imagine that this would also be very good for your hair because it's got the biotin in it. And it has the vitamin A, very good for eyes, hair, nails, all of that. And of course the tremella as well. Super, super interesting. So they are at, let me just double check, phytonectars.com, all one word, phytonectars.com. Liz Loves gives you 20% off. So go and check them out. I certainly will be doing that after this. Talking about hair loss, as we were last time we were together, just to say I've had lots of comments about Lily's hair alpha ray. And this is, I've actually got hers here because I'm back home now, so I was able to go and borrow it. So this is hers. It looks a bit like a motorcycle helmet and super easy to use because you can just wear it around the house, can't you? You can just, sit in front of the TV or whatever you're doing. Non-invasive, and it is specially programmed with the LED lights that have been clinically, medically proven, has a medical license for it, to regenerate hair follicles. And so your hair regrows. Very interesting studies and trials. And my son, Guy, was over here, it's probably the Christmas before last, and he was over from Kenya, and he was only over for a few weeks. And he said to Lil, oh, I really want to try your hair helmet. And she said, well, Guy, I'm only here for a few weeks. Well, you're only here for a few weeks, but sure, you can try it. But, normally we'd say, a few months to see a difference. Anyway, he went back to Kenya after a couple of weeks, and the first thing his girlfriend said was, what's happened to your hair? It's beginning to regrow. So lots of guys are using this instead of considering a hair transplant, for example, which is super expensive and painful and doesn't always work. So I think this is great. Obviously, girls can use it too. Perimenopause, menopause, if you find that your hair is changing, thinning, it's just great. You just press a little button here. Talks to you. She's very cute. And let's see. Here we go. So there you go. Oh, it's been used a lot. Lil was actually using this originally for migraine. Okay, yes, I will charge you. I will charge you. Bossy. If you want one of those, they are an expensive bit of kit, but it works. Okay, so I'm just putting it out there. So sellreturn.co.uk, and that is, it's a slightly different code. It's Liz Loves 23, Liz Loves 23, and that gets you 10% off. Also gets you 10% off the amazing face mask. This is actually Lily's. It's the black one. I've got the white one. Love it. I use that every night, and it's super, super good for my skin. Would not go to sleep without having used that first. The last thing that I did, I mentioned earlier about adding all these different things into my cup of coffee. Loving this one, Ancient and Brave. This is true MCT oil. I had this morning, so I was up quite early, did a bit of gym, had a cold shower, all of that stuff, didn't eat. Literally, I had a boiled egg at midday. That was the first time I ate. So to keep me going, I add the MCT oil. This is the medium chain triglycerides. Your body starts burning fat for brain health and for energy. It's part of the ATP energy cycle, and it is not using glycogen or sugars. So it just keeps you feeling fuller for longer, and it's fantastic for helping to prolong a fast. So if you're doing intermittent fasting, time restricted eating, you're delaying that window between the last mouthful of nighttime and the first mouthful of the day. I find a spoonful of this whisked up, I use my little whizzer, in my black coffee. Absolutely great. Do not even feel hungry. So Ancient and Brave, lovely British company, fab female founders, and again, we have 20% off on their website if you use the code Liz Loves. Before I go, I just wanted to say that some of you may have already spotted the fabulous first ever Earle Wellbeing retreat in Italy in September. So you can join me at the Palazzo di Varignana. It's in the hills of Bologna. And we're going to have 3 days of pampering. Honestly, check it out. The spa is unreal. They've got like cold pools and thermal spas, and I mean, just so much stuff. A brilliant holistic director of health as well, who's going to be hosting a special lunch. I'm going to be there obviously as well. We're doing a big gala dinner. We'll be having botanical cocktails and mocktails, and I'm going to be doing workshop and talk and Q&A on all the things that I love so much, and able to be a little bit more personal, a little bit more interactive, answering questions one-to-one. Plus, we'll also have a great time in a great setting. So if you fancy a long weekend away, or maybe extend it into a holiday, that area of Bologna is absolutely stunning. So you can actually go on and maybe do some exploring. Super, super excited about that. Yeah, just looking here, they have sensory showers, a bio-sauna. What's a bio-sauna? Turkish bath, Finnish sauna, ice waterfall. Yes, I'm in there. Sound pool and hammam. Wow. There we go. All right. So if you want more details on that, go to lizellewellbeing.com/Bologna, BOLOGNA, and that gives you details of how to book. We've already had quite a few bookings. Looking forward to seeing so many of you. But there are a last few places. So if you would like to grab one, come on your own, share a room, come with a friend, come with your mum, your daughter, whatever. It's going to be really lovely, and I'm super excited about it. And if it goes well and we all have a good time, then we'll do more, and we'll look at doing more in the UK as well as overseas. So fingers crossed, hey? Anyway, I am now off to the Chalk Valley History Festival. You may have seen it on my personal Instagram, LizElme. I am going to be hosting and introducing a fantastic female speaker, Sarah Percy, who's written a brilliant book all about females on the front line, female warriors. Yeah, freedom warriors. So you can imagine why that was the talk that I picked to sponsor, because we're all about warrior women, especially when it comes to wellness. So I'll be popping lots on my stories. So do head over there and join us. And if you are free at all this week or this weekend, Chalk Valley History Festival, I'm one of their patrons. I love it. It's a brilliant outdoor festival. It's just outside Salisbury, not too far from the train station. And it is a really, really super day out for the whole family. They've got lots of kids stuff and activities and reenactments and all sorts. I mean, it really is a great deep dive into the world of global history. That's it for today. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Just a quick notice. Thursday, we have a slightly different time. I'm going to be on at 2 o'clock live, or later on catch up, because we'll save it, obviously, with Dr. Rebecca Lewis, one of our fabulous menopause warriors, Dr. Rebecca Lewis. So we're going to be doing, a deep dive into menopause, particularly menopause and mood, which you may have seen in the latest edition of Earle Wellbeing magazine. There's a fantastic in-depth article on that. And we're going to be talking more live with her. So do make a note to join us. Until then, have a great day. I hope the sun is shining wherever you are, sending you sunny vibes in the meantime. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.